Peace, 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 peace. Welcome back to the station or channel, the network. Peace and blessings to all mankind. Peace and blessings to all humanity, people, all for beings in general. Peace and blessings, nothing but peace, love, and blessings to every man, woman, and child, all the positive peoples. This is the network for the positive ones, positive people, forward-thinking, bright, and progressive people of all walks of life. This is Brother Henry Hank, Soul Conscious, back in time with another pristine, fine, and genuine new video. Delivering it to you in this online zone like a crisp out, fresh out of machine ice cream cone. You know who this is, you know what time it is. Positivity over negativity. I hope everyone's having a nice week and month so far. If not, I hope that it may improve. Remember to click the bell button, like, share, subscribe. If you have a positive cause, channel, endeavor you're involved in, let me know and I'll do the same for you as well, or program or everything collectively. I'm always a comment or email away. If there's any information you would like to discuss or convey with me, or you need additional help about the settings or issue or anything you would like to know about the networks or my other media, you can go to my about or discussion pages, or you can email any suggestions, comments, or questions to me anytime at 24/7 at lowercase ggNewtime at hotmail.com, lowercase Henry the Hard Worker at gmail.com, or lowercase Henry or Hank Alpha Male 4400 at gmail.com. So anyway, let's continue. We're picking off with Sun Tzu's Art of War. As I promised at the end of this mini-series, I know it's a little tedious and lengthy. At the end of the mini-series, I'm going to do a mini recream and review to show how we can apply it to this arsenal in a positive way to aspects of our lives today. Continuing at section 9, the 9 situations about where we left off. I believe we left off approximately between about points 3 to 7, but just to be on the safe side, I'll continue with point 3. When he has penetrated into hostile territory, but to no great distance, it is facile ground or facial ground or facile ground. Pardon me, I'm not too sure how it's pronounced. Point 4 of section 9, or section 9 or 11, you know, of the 9 situations from Sun Tzu's Art of War. The 9 situations of Sun Tzu's Art of War, continuing point number 4. Ground the possession of which imports great advantage to either side is contentious ground. Point 5. Ground on which each side has liberty of movement is open ground. I apologize. This is volume 1 of my mini-series about part 9. So this way, you know, in case you didn't get a chance to see it in the description, you'll have an idea of the order so you can review each chapter or mini video if you like. Remember, that's the video part number, not the actual number from where I'm reading. There's a difference. Point 5. Ground on which each side has liberty of movement is open ground. Point 6. Ground which forms the key to 3 contiguous states so that he who occupies it first has most of the empire at his command is a ground of intersecting highways. Point 7. When an army is penetrated into the heart of a hostile country, leaving a number of fortified cities in his rear, it is serious ground. Point 8. Mountain forests, rugged steeps, marshes, and fens, all country that is hard to traverse. This is difficult ground. Point 9. Ground which is reached through narrow gorges and from which we can only retire by tortuous paths, so that a small number of the enemy would suffice to crush a large body of our men. This is hemmed in ground. Point 10. Ground on which we can only be saved from destruction by fighting without delay is desperate ground. Point 11. On dispersive ground, therefore, fight not. On facile ground, halt not. On contentious ground, attack not. Point 12. On open ground, do not try to block the enemy's way on the ground of intersecting highways. Join hands with your allies. Point 13. On serious ground, gather and plunder. In difficult ground, keep steadily on the march. Point 14. On hemmed in ground, resort to stratagem. On desperate ground, fight. Point 15. Those who are called skillful leaders of old knew how to drive a wedge between the enemy's front and rear, to prevent cooperation between his large and small division, to hinder the good troops from rescuing the from rescuing the bad, the officers from rallying their men. Point 16. When the enemy's men were united, they managed to keep them in disorder. Point 17. When it was to their advantage, they made a forward move. When otherwise, they stopped still. Point 18. If asked how to cope with a great host of the enemy in orderly array and on the point of marching to the attack, I should say, begin by seizing something which your opponent holds dear, then he will be amenable to your will. Point 19. Rapidity is the essence of war. Take advantage of the enemy's unreadiness, make your way by unexpected routes, and attack unguarded spots. Point 20. The following are the principles to be observed by an invading force. The further you penetrate into a country, the greater will be the solidarity of your troops, and thus the defenders will not prevail against you. Point 21. Make forays in fertile country in order to supply your army with food. Point 22. Carefully study the well-being of your men and do not overtax them. Concentrate your energy and hoard your strength. Keep your army continually on the move and devise unfathomable plans. Point 23. Throw your soldiers into positions whence there is no escape, and they will prefer death to flight. If they will face death, there is nothing they may not achieve. Officers and men alike will put forth their uttermost strength. Point 24. Soldiers, when in desperate straits, lose the sense of fear. If there is no place of refuge, they will stand firm. If they are in hostile country, they will show a stubborn front. If there is no help for it, they will fight hard. Point 25. Thus, without waiting to be marshaled, the soldiers will be constantly on the qui vive or vive. Without waiting to be asked, they will do your will. Without restrictions, they will be faithful. Without giving orders, they can be trusted. Point 26. Prohibit the taking of omens and do away with superstitious doubts. Then, until death itself comes, no calamity need be feared. Point 27. If our soldiers are not overburdened with money, it is not because they have a distaste for riches. If their lives are not unduly long, it is not because they are disinclined to longevity. Point 28. On the day they are ordered out to battle, your soldiers may weep, thus sitting up, bedewing their garments, and thus lying down and letting the tears run down their cheeks. But let them once be brought to bay, and they will display the courage of a Chu or Kwai, pardon me. 29. The skillful tactician will be likened to a Shangjan. Now, the Shangjan or Shijan is a snake that is found in the Chuang Mountains. Strike at its head, and you will be attacked by its tail. Strike at its tail, you attack at its head. Strike at its middle, you'll be attacked by head and tail both. Asked if an army can be, point 30, pardon me. Asked if an army can be made to imitate the Shuzhang, I answer yes. For the men of Wu and the men of Yu are enemies. Yet if they are crossing a river in the same boat and are caught by a storm, they will come to each other's assistance just as the left hand helps the right. Point 31. Hence, it is not enough to put one's trust in the tethering of horses and the burying of chariot wheels in the ground. Point 32. The principle on which to manage an army is to set up one standard of courage which all must reach. Point 33. How to make the best of both strong and weak. That is a question involving the proper use of ground. Point 34. Thus the skillful general conducts his army just as though he were leading a single man, willy-nilly by the hand. Point 35. It is the business of a general to be quiet and thus ensure secrecy, upright and just, and thus maintain order. Point 36. He must be able to mystify his officers and men by false reports and appearances, and thus keeping them in total ignorance. Point 37. By altering his arrangements and changing his plans, he keeps the enemy without definite knowledge. By shifting his camp and taking circuitous routes, he prevents the enemy from anticipating his purpose. Point 38. At the critical moment, the leader of an army acts like one who has climbed up a height and then kicks away the ladder behind him. He carries his men deep into hostile territory before he shows his hand. Point 39. He burns his boats and breaks his cooking pots. Like a shepherd driving a flock of sheep, he drives his men this way and that, and nothing knows whither he is going. Point 40, to muster his host and bring it into danger. This may be termed the business of the general. Point 41, the different measures suited to the 9 varieties of ground, the expediency of aggressive or defensive tactics, and the fundamental laws of human nature. These are things that must most certainly be studied. Point 42, when invading hostile territory, the general principle is that penetrating deeply brings cohesion. Penetrating but a short way means dispersion. Point 43, when you leave your own country behind and take your army across neighborhood territory, you find yourself on critical ground. When there are means of communication on all 4 sides, the ground is one of intersecting highways. Point 44, when you penetrate deeply into a country, it is serious ground. When you penetrate but a little way, it is facile or facile ground. Point 45, when you have the enemy strongholds on your rear and narrow passes in front, it is hemmed in ground. When there is no place of refuge at all, it is desperate ground. Point 46, therefore on dispersive ground I would inspire my men with unity of purpose. On facile ground I would see that there is close connection between all points of my army. Point 47, on contentious ground I would hurry up my rear. So thanks for bearing with me. We're going to pause there for now. I'll be back with volume 1, part about 9 or 10. It'll be about part 10, I believe, most likely, at least 9 next time. Remember to click the bell button to be notified. Like, share, subscribe. Peace and blessings. Remember, think right, reflect right, love right, be right, do right, live right. All the best in life to you and your loved ones, friends, relatives, acquaintances. Please spread the word about the channel. Like, share, subscribe, click the bell button. I'll do the same for you. If you have any questions, go to the About discussion page. Email me. If there's anything you missed, feel free to rewind and go back or view the previous parts to this mini-series. Enjoy the music as we close out, and I will catch you guys on the fly in the next one. Peace, peace, peace.